everyone, and welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast reviews Lucha Underground. This week we are reviewing Season 2, Episode 17, ominously referred to as Crime and Punishment. Ooh, very, very scary, of course. My name is Turbo Tony. I'm the host of the show. I have a treat for you, however. He will not be at this weekend's episode, but he's decided he will be here for this. It is Matt Marsander again here on my little weekly hangout, Matt. How dare you interrupt this?
Just step in on your turf.
Yeah. Now, I love it, of course, but I can't tell. Oh, I've already said that now. So, oh well. How you doing anyway?
Yeah, not too bad. Oh, excuse me.
Okay.
No, I've been fine. It's been a busy week. I've been planning to go away this weekend, and it's just all chaos.
Yeah.
And new cars and
Well,
a bit much. But there was Lucha.
In the darkest of times, there is Lucha.
That's it.
That's what I live by nowadays. Okay, Matt. Well, let's do some of our social media stuff. Get straight on with it because we don't waste any time here on these Lucha reviews. Almost like the show, they don't waste any time with what they're doing, so we don't do either.
No messing around, just go to it.
That's exactly right. Of course, if you guys like to interact with us, the main way of doing so is via our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast. He is here to do the Twitter handle drop, so do it, Matt.
You mean at Talk Wrestle Pod?
Oh, it feels so good on the weekly show to have that happen. So good.
What you were saying about like episode 17, I was like, has it really been 17?
I know. It's crazy, isn't it? We're actually almost done with the season. It's only like a couple of more weeks left, so
it's crazy. But then, yeah, I guess it's about time they started worrying about like Gift of the Gods and all that. Yeah,
that's it. And start developing the end game for this season. Yeah. If you guys want to send us any private emails about the end game of that season, it's Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast at gmail.com. Sexy audio questions also available there. So, Matt, let's not procrastinate any further. Let's get into what actually happened on this week's show. We started off Dario Cueto's office. Cage, obviously not a happy camper over what happened with Chavo Guerrero stealing his ancient Aztec medallion, because this week is the Gift of the Gods. They're going to be gifting up that championship to whoever manages to win the main event.
Mm-hmm.
Cueto, I love the way that Cueto, anyone that comes up to him and starts moaning about something that doesn't really have anything, it's got something to do with him, but Cueto's like, it sounds like your problems. It doesn't sound like it's got anything to do with me.
Yeah, it's definitely that sort of like distancing himself. It's like, that's fine, but it sounds more like a you problem.
Yeah,
I don't see where I really tie into that.
Yeah. Like, this seems like something you have to deal with. I really don't care who has that medallion. So,
like, I don't care. Whoever's got it, whoever puts it in the title, I don't care.
Yeah. Now, they go straight from that scene. Not really much happens there, but they go straight from that scene into the ring.
Yeah, it's just a lot of Cage just going like, well, I'll just be giant then.
Yeah. Now, Cueto, they've got obviously the setup. They've got the belt, which I think is still a lovely looking belt.
Yeah.
Cueto obviously explains that there's going to be the 7-way match as the main event of that show for the new Gift of the Gods champion, right? He invites all the medallion owners down to the ring to solidify their place in the big time main event. One thing I did like all of this, because like Darrow's given them all the big hyped up intros for them coming down. Just the way he's like, "Ooh, spooky" to Sinestro de la Muerte. I was like, that's...
the one thing I loved was like, yes, round thing goes in round hole.
Yeah. Well done. Yeah.
There's Mac just like, fuck you, man.
Yeah. He's clearly taking the piss a little bit, but why not? His brother's the Lucha Underground champion. He's got a bit of swagger, Matt. So now, see, one by one, they all come down. They put the medallions into the championship, but of course, there's one who has a big wall in his way. Chavo. It's got a big wall called Cage, who is going to try and take him out, take his medallion back. So Cage ends up taking him out, looks in the pouch where the medallion should be, but it's just a washer And I'm like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, I kind of know where this is going from here on out. You know where it's going. Chavo uses the distraction, hits Cage with a steel chair, and then places the medallion in its holder. So he does take Cage's spot, and he will be in the main event, which obviously Cueto announces. But Cage takes him out with a Weapon X. Let's talk about this then, Matt, because Chavo and Cage seems to be the new rivalry on the blocks, especially what happened later on in the show when we get into that. I'm not that interested in a Cage and Chavo rivalry, personally.
I think it's probably just because I'm not that interested in Chavo anymore.
I think that's probably what it is, if I'm honest. I explained this on episodes before, Matt, where I said, like, Chavo feels like he's been around in wrestling since before I was born, and not for a good reason, right? It feels like he's been around all the time, and I'm kind of done with the guy.
He has.
Yeah, right? And I'm not young. We're not young, Matt. It feels that way.
That's it. What they were going on about, like, his 25-year career. It's like, fuck, he's only been we've only been around 3 or 4 years less than he's been in the ring. It's 3 or 4 years more. Sorry.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm nearly as old as his career, but I've seen him do a lot. I don't want to see him do anymore.
Yeah, and one of the things as well, Matt, I will say, man, I'm sure Chavo Guerrero fans are not going to like us after this podcast, but he's one of those guys that's managed to get by without doing very little evolution of himself, right? No. He's basically been the Chavo we got 20 years ago is probably the Chavo we have now. And that's the reason why I'm just kind of done with the guy. But, Cage, I'm a big fan of Cage. I just hope this doesn't last until Ultima Lucha, and this is Cage's match for Ultima Lucha. Because
I don't know. Well, we know what comes next, and that's where I kind of see it going.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that when we get to it at the main event and what happens there. Okay, first match of the night: Cobra Moon versus Daga versus Mascarita Sagrada, one of Matt's favorites, by the way, and versus Argenis. Famous B takes over the introductions. Matt, have you dialed 423 get fame?
Get fame. Yeah, you didn't say it properly.
Oh, sorry.
I haven't.
Well, when there's a show that pops up called the Let's Talk Marsander show, I know you would have contacted
I got fame.
You got fame, right? I like the way that when he's actually doing it, though, it actually pops up on the screen as he's doing it. I'm like, that's pretty cool. He introduces Sagrada, his clients from Little Hollywood, California. I didn't realize, Matt, that Sagrada's entrance music is Two Steps from Hell.
Yep.
Which I love. You, Matt, because I like to.
I think one thing is, I think they've got the same. I think he's coming out to the same song that's currently my ringtone.
Oh, well, but the thing is, Matt, right? I love Two Steps from Hell, their music, and I use it while I write, and sometimes when I'm doing notes, even for this show. Right?
Yeah.
Those things that, Matt, it's like it gets overused too much. Two Steps from Hell music when it's used in shows like this. TNA even uses Two Steps from Hell music. And it's great music.
I mean, it was one thing when I noticed it was being used for Game of War and things like that, and I'm like, boo.
It's great music that unfortunately gets used all the time. So when I'm hearing it here, I'm a little bit like, oh, that's a bit of a shame. But especially for Sagrada of all people. But yeah, there we are. So the one thing I was happy about to see with this, Matt, is Daga. I like this guy. I think he's a real talent. I've only seen him in 2 matches so far this season, and he's done pretty well in both.
In which case, I think I've missed one of them then. Unless one is this match.
One is this match, and the other one is
when he was against Tahano. Okay, I thought I'd missed a. Yeah, I thought I'd missed a match.
Mixed match, yeah. Well, I was actually thinking to myself, I'm pretty sure that I reviewed that match with you, so I know you watched it.
Oh, yeah, because we referred to him as the hybrid of Balor and Neville.
Yeah, sort of thing, yeah. So there's a little bit of a thing going on here. So first of all, one thing I did think when I was watching this match, Matt, I wonder if it popped into your head. I'm sure that some people are going to watch Sagrada and Cobra Moon wrestling each other, and immediately, if they're not into the Lucha Underground way of accepting things, right? They're going to look at it and they're going to think it's a sideshow. They're going to think that it's a wrestling sideshow.
A woman who thinks she's a cobra and a midget.
Yeah, right. It's almost one of those things where you expect a joke to come after that. But I think they've done a decent job of getting Cobra Moon as a character. Sagrada, I mean, he's more of a comedy character, but still.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder how long until she starts going around with Marty the Moth and that lot. Considering she was really creepy.
Yeah,
when she started getting a little bit rapey towards Dargo.
She did get a little bit, yeah. That seems to be the storyline, right? That she seems to, she's got the hots for the guy.
He pulled her hair and that was it. Yeah, she's hot for him. It's
yeah. Who knew? That's all you need. If you're interested in getting involved, Cobra Moon, just tug her hair. I'm sure. Apparently, that's all it takes. And you have to be a good-looking guy like Dargo and all that lot, and have the frame and everything he has. But that's all secondary, Matt. You just have to tug her hair. That's the main thing. Yeah. But still. I'm sure those regular to Lucha Underground, I didn't have a problem with it, but all I could think of when watching it, I thought that some people are going to look at this. If they're flicking over, they'll think this is like a carnival wrestling sideshow, and this looks bonkers, and I've got no time for this. But still. Darga locked in a gory special hybrid submission on Cobra Moon and Argenis that looked straight out of a Cirque du Soleil show. It looks bonkers. Matt, I was expecting this the slow music with some the neon lights and something they're all going up in different positions. And shit like this.
Yeah.
It did look. It looked devastating, I will say, but it looked bonkers at the same time, which is good. The show is bonkers by nature, right?
Yeah, I was going to say it looked like a lucha hold.
Yeah. Argenis then starts throwing around Sagrada like a rag doll. There was one time, Matt, where he landed half on the mat, half on the bottom rope. His head.
Yeah. I thought we were going to see a repeat of I can't remember his name.
Enzo. When he hit the ropes.
Yeah. I was thinking Enzo, but then also, who was it who everyone was like, oh, fucking Ray killed a guy?
Oh, yeah. No, I remember that, yeah. No, to me, it just looked a bit weird because his neck landed right on that rope, and I was thinking, oh, shit, that's Whiplash Central right there. That's a problem. But he seemed okay. I hope that Paul Sagrada, he's been putting in a lot of matches here that he's just getting a lot of beatings in. So, but still. Cobra Moon lands her finisher on Sagrada, but instead of going for the pin, Matt, she lets Darga get the pinfall. And she kind of looked like she liked what she sees. Darga looked a little bit confused, but he took the win and went about his day. So who knows, maybe a potential alliance down the line, maybe a new power couple, right? The yin and yang, maybe.
Or maybe we're just going to start seeing some backstage segments where she's stalking him.
Yeah, right. Something along those lines. You know what, Matt, though? I'm just happy that they're at least coming up with something even if it's something small, but a small storyline for Darga, because I think this guy is a real good talent.
Yeah. I mean, the trouble is, I looked at this match and I was like, oh, let's have a fatal four-way for everyone who currently doesn't have a thing to do.
Yeah. In that sense, Matt, the match came across as a little bit meaningless, right? Which Lucha Underground is very good for having their matches at very least have some sort of semblance.
Yeah.
You hope that the reason why this match was done was the start of a storyline for both Cobra Moon and Darga.
Oh, yeah. That it leads off to something. And, everything starts from nothing. But it felt like nothing.
Yeah. And obviously, Famous B being out there, a reason for him to be out there, that's quite fun. And Brenda, of course. Can't forget about Brenda, Matt.
That's very true. The beautiful Brenda.
The beautiful Brenda. That's right.
Brenda the beautiful.
This makes it sound like a Game of Thrones thing, Matt.
Cut your throat out.
Yeah. In terms of the match, Matt, I thought it was okay. I thought it had some decent spots. Not too bad. Not hugely memorable in the same measure, but okay. Wasn't a waste of time, but nothing hugely memorable.
I think that kind of that's what it really was. It was okay.
It was okay, yeah. Matt, I think we're going to hit a crossroads with a certain character in this, and let me explain. So Let me talk about the next scene. Killshot. Haven't seen him in a while. He's gearing up backstage. Marty the Moth shows up, says that he's reporting for duty. He just cocks his arm like Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Complete with sound effects, Matt. So
he's one better than Reigns.
Yeah.
His arm actually does generate the rifle sound.
Roman Reigns is looking at it like, that's the key to me getting over.
That's what I need.
He gets floored by Killshot. Killshot walks off with Marty just laughing. I wasn't the biggest fan of this scene, Matt. I thought it came off a little bit too corny with the sound effects. And Marty's trying to come off as intimidating, but he never was intimidating. Even back with the Sexy Star storyline, he came off as creepy, right? Yeah, he wasn't intimidating. So playing to the wrong strength with Marty, I think, made him look a bit weak, personally. And I'm going to say this, Matt, and I wonder whether or not I don't think you'll agree. I think you'd be a bit annoyed. But I think Killshot is an early runner for most disappointing character on the show this season.
Mm-hmm. I don't disagree at all. I actually didn't enjoy the match.
No, I didn't either.
The following match. They were just like, especially the way the commentary team was just like, he's like, from being a soldier, he keeps his cool and he's always the one fighting from behind, sort of thing. And I'm just like, I don't like it. It's dull.
Well, you look at what he's had so far. We've very, very rarely seen him. Right, he hasn't had a world-class match that we're going to rave about for a long time. Not yet, at least. He's had no storyline. None. He's had nothing, really. All we've had is some introduction of his character, and then he's been missing for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah.
And people might be saying he might be getting a little bit...
He must be getting something, like, significant, considering he was in the... the trailer. Sorry, my mind just went to butter then for a second.
Yeah,
but yeah, he was in the trailer. Like, I don't know whether. So he's going to have to be something significant.
Well, that's what we can hope. I mean, nothing's happened so far. I mean, that trailer was at the very beginning of the season. We're in episode 17 now. We haven't seen him do that much. And Matt, our expectations for the guy, you can go back and listen to it, guys. We were raving about this character. He seems to be like an army vet. What's going on? Like, what kind of character they're going to build this guy? Yeah, they gave us the backstory and then didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I think if things continue as they are, and as it is, he may end up being the most disappointing character so far, which is, Matt, I wouldn't have picked that to happen at the start of the season at all, but that's just the way things have happened. There was one thing here that, from Matt Stryker, maybe it pissed me off and began me thinking like this. Actually, I think it was more of the scene beforehand. So Matt Stryker, right off the bat, tells us, Matt, that he thinks Killshot will be the MVP of this year's season.
Yeah. The moment I heard that, I'm like, you what?
Do you want to say that next to Matanza Cueto? Yeah, the guy who's unbeaten, the current Lucha Underground champion who debuted this season.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's the MVP, right?
That's it.
Killshot has, I think he's unbeaten, but like, he's one of those guys that like he's only had like 3 matches tops, and they haven't exactly been hugely memorable.
He's not been like, give me a definition of a good wrestling match. It's not like I can just turn around and go, have you seen? I would not be able to.
Killshot versus, yeah. Matt, one of the other things as well is that this is a long match. Right, probably even longer than the main event. I can't say that for sure, but it was a lot lengthier than I thought it would be.
A long match, yeah.
Marty, the guy who's been very easily dealt with by the majority of people he's fought, and the Mac has dealt with him almost with a brush of a hand. Doesn't even have to deal with the guy, right? Killshot had so much trouble trying to keep up with Marty. Marty was getting loads of offense in this match, to the point where it looked like Killshot kind of stole the win against Marty the Moth.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't too impressed. Clearly, he's got ability because you can see some of the stuff he can do in the ring. And I'm like, that's impressive, right? What he's done there, you have to have some talent to pull that off. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, but the match itself didn't come across to me that well. I'm just a little bit disappointed, I guess, a little bit unimpressed. But after the match anyway, Marty attacks Killshot, steals his dog tags, and then gives him a middle rope curb stomp. Wasn't a big fan of the match, personally.
No. Do you know what? I wasn't a big fan of them using the curb stomp. It's not the fact that I have a problem with people using the curb stomp, obviously, but especially when it's, I think it's just that whole sort of the different brands sort of thing. But then you sort of see that it used to be such a devastating finisher that nobody would kick out of, and then he Killshot kicks out of it. You're like, oh,
yeah. I don't know whether that's going to be like his new finisher, Marty, but yeah, if that is, he couldn't even finish off Killshot with it. But I don't know. Maybe this is going to be the new. This new story is Killshot's new story.
Yeah.
And I'll hold my breath until the end of the season. But so far, it hasn't gone well for the guy. And you know, I'm not exactly blaming him entirely. It's the show as well. They haven't given a lot of the spotlight to him. He's kind of been one of the bit players at very most. So, but still. Okay, into the main event of the night. The Gift of the Gods title match to crown the new Gift of the Gods champion. Tejano, Sexy Star, The Mac, Joey Ryan, Chavo, Sinistro de la Muerte, and Aerostar, all in this match. This match, I thought it was pretty okay. I thought it was
solid. I don't quite understand the awesome chant. I don't think it was quite one. There were good spots, but I wouldn't say it was an awesome match.
Yeah, I don't think it earned that moniker, at the very least. I will say that seeing Sexy Star and the Mac do stereo head scissor takedowns was pretty impressive. Fun. And then seeing them face each other for a little while was pretty good. The more I look at Mac, Matt, I keep thinking that WWE should take a look at the Mac. Because just for the fact that I think he'll get a following quite easily. Because he's one of those guys you look at, you don't ever expect him to be able to pull off some of the things that he can do. And when he does, he gets that response from the crowd. He is.
I think that's why we got Owens in WWE.
I think Mac would be fine in there. I think he's what I'm saying. At very least, I think he's worth a look.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's got I don't think he has, but whether or not he's got a questionable history or maybe age, I don't think those are particular factors with the guy. But if they are, maybe that's keeping them away.
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying.
But if I were WWE, I'd be looking at him and thinking, look, he plays the common man in Lucha Underground. He could do that in WWE perfectly, right? Because he can maintain that same sort of build, be still athletic. I'm not saying he can be the new Dusty Rhodes, but he can take a similar part to that. I was
going to say, I don't think he can be the common man.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
He could be someone that people can relate to properly, right? They want the crowd to relate to Roman Reigns. No one's going to relate to Roman Reigns, right? Because he's this guy who's fucking hench as fuck. So, 6'4" Samoan guy, right?
Mac looks like a common person rather than sort of like a 6'6" hench, like handsome Samoan.
The Mac looks like a guy that I could go into a pub and have a beer with, right? I don't think Roman Reigns or people like that. I don't look at them and think, I'd like to have a beer with the guy. With the Mac, I look at him and be like, yeah, sure, I'd love to. I'd love to see what.
The chances are I'm going to find him in a pub.
Exactly, right? So there we are, but still. So chaotic action in this match, as you would expect here. A lot of close calls. Some maybe a little bit too close. They looked as if maybe the guys got there at questionable times to break the pin, shall we say.
Yeah.
I think there was one with Tejano where he was standing there, but he took so long, dropping down to give the elbow drop. It looked like the referee was about to count the 3. So
yeah.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that, Matt. Chavo gets close to winning, but obviously that pisses everyone off for everyone to do a series of finishes on the guy. And here comes the slightly controversial part. So Cage comes down, and instead of picking apart the pieces left to Chavo, who's just literally been stunned, driven down, splashed, everything, right?
Code broken and things like that.
Yeah. One thing I did like, though, is the crowd were clapping into the tune of the Terminator, which I thought was pretty amazing. Yeah. I like that touch. So what he does, though, is that he takes out everyone else, apart from Chavo. He annihilates them all, takes them all out, and then takes out Joey Ryan in the middle of the ring, and just pulls Chavo's body on top of him. So he gives Chavo the victory, wins him the Gift of the Gods championship. That's right. Chavo Guerrero is the Gift of the Gods champion. Afterwards, Cage then reveals his grand master plan by saying he already spoke to Dario Cueto. Next week will be a title match between Cage and Chavo. So you could argue it from Cage's point of view. If you knew that match was going to happen if Chavo won, it was a lot more likely him beating Chavo than beating 6 other people anyway, right? So at very least,
I quite like how loads of people are like, boo. It's like, really? You can't see this coming.
Yeah.
At the moment the 3 count happened, I was like, cool. I was expecting it to be like that night because I noticed that there was still like 3 minutes left on my video. I was just like, it could essentially just be now, like Weapon X done.
Yeah, and then he walks out with the championship. Yeah, I don't listen. In terms of, if you look at it in terms of character, Cage played it perfectly, right? He waited, he made the best of the situation. Now he's got a one-on-one match with Chavo. As fans watching it, do I want to see Cage wrestle Chavo? Not really. That's the problem there, and that's going to be next week's main event, I think.
Yeah,
so
probably quite easily.
Yeah, I'm just and it's not so much like, oh, listen, like Chavo being the heel, I would want to see him get beat in a match with the face. It's not like that. I just don't want to watch it. I just don't want to watch Chavo. I find that I've seen everything the guy can do, and I'm not that interested in it. So that left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth as the wrestling portion of this show went off the air.
Yeah,
it's like it made a match that I'm not excited to watch next week. Which Lucha Underground often, when they do this and they set up a match for next week, I'm like, fuck yeah, I want that. Let's do it.
Yeah,
right. Not so much this week, but still. So to end the episode, Matt, we see Vampiro. He's speaking to Pentagon Jr., who has been out of action since his match with Matanza. Matanza straight up Batmaned him, right? He was Bane. He broke his back, right? Put him out of action. Put him on the shelf. Vampiro is obviously dressed up in all of his garb now, and he's saying that he must break Pentagon.
He's proper Vampiro. He's not Ian Hutchins or whatever it is.
Yeah, there's no hint of Ian Hutchinson in this scene. It's all Vampiro, right?
That's why I quite like he references it quite a lot, because it's sort of like, you think you can control it. Ian thought he could keep me away.
Yeah. That it's almost like Ian Hodgkinson, like even he wants to keep Vampiro at bay to a certain degree. Like it is a multiple personality, right? Or if you want to go even further, you could say it's 2 different forces in the same vessel if you want to get very supernatural about it. And, if you want to go that far with it. But basically what he's saying here is that he wants to break Pentagon. And he's got Pentagon suspended in the air by like cables and a harness. Matt, I'm not sure if this looks like a torture device or a sex swing. I'm not entirely sure.
I was in the exact same state of mind. I'm just like, the hell is he going to fuck it?
I'm like, okay. Maybe he's doing slightly more questionable things.
I know the show's not PG, but jeez.
That's going a little bit too far, right?
Yeah, it's like we're pushing for the R rating these days.
We made that joke before that sometimes they're just one wrong line away from a porno when you've got Vampiro saying, I must break you again with Pentagon in a sex swing looking thing. You're one line away from there for some really dirty porn. But
that's it. Are you going to step it across? No. And he's like, and he used that. I'm going to use this.
Oh god, someone's going to be starting writing some really weird fucked up fan fiction out of like Lucha Underground in this. I will break you, Pentagon, and you will like it. But what he's actually attacking with him, go back to reality now, what he's actually attacking with him is like a kendo stick sort of thing, right? Or just a stick. And he's like, listen, this doesn't hurt nearly as much as what Matanza did to you.
That's it. You can't show fear. You can't say you're hurting.
Yeah.
Let's do what needs to be done.
Yeah. And he says, well, this doesn't hurt as much as what Matanza did, but this will. And he shows him Barbie, a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire for our less hardcore fans, well, hardcore wrestling fans in terms of liking hardcore wrestling matches. Freaky stuff again. I tell you what, Matt, what this is that it's again, we just finished with a redemption story for Sexy Star. This is a redemption story for Pentagon. It's a different take on it.
Yeah.
Where he's going to come back as a more dominating, destructive force, where it was with Sexy Star, it was her just reclaiming what she had to begin with, right? Eventually, this will bring Pentagon back, and he'll be better than ever, I expect. So, I imagine this will not be the last that we see scenes like this of him being tortured to a degree and then coming back as a bigger, badder bastard. Right? Yeah. Which they hope they go with. So, Matt, let's give our overall review of the show. I have to say, overall, this is probably one of the shows that I enjoyed the least this season.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that so far?
Yeah, I could agree with that. And I can't even think of a reason. Well, I can't even think of a justification. No, I can't say why. I just didn't really particularly enjoy it. I think it might be because we had a Fatal 4-Way match with we don't have anything going for these guys. We had Arhanas in it, and I was like, the fuck was the last time we saw him? Aztec Warfare.
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe one match since then, but I can't say off the top of my head. I can't remember. So
that's it. And it's Sagrada, who's already become a little bit of a joke, considering it's you got a match for a medallion. Oh yeah, you're gonna just get fed to Cage.
Yeah.
Cobra Moon. I don't think Cobra Moon hasn't got a great deal of momentum recently.
Yeah, she's one of the bit players as well, isn't she? Really.
And Darga's probably the one person, but it's I thought it was really bizarre because it's has Darga got some? It's Striker was just has Darga got anything to sort of translate? And he's sounds a bit like Dagger. It's right, well done.
Yeah, that wasn't.
Points to Vampiro.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things. I think commentary didn't have a great one. I mean, even with Matt Striker coming out about Killshot being the MVP of the season, I'm just that's a bit brain dead right there.
Oh yeah, and the fact that he with Vampiro is I could agree with you. It's really.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a few moments where it's I don't even. I guess I must have zoned out or something or stopped paying attention, but there was a moment where Vampiro's why are you making fun of me and my condition? The fact I have to take take antipsychotic pain meds and things like that. And I was why are they talking about that?
Yeah.
I felt making fun of me. Why is he making? I don't even know anymore.
Yeah. It's I tell you what as well. It's one of the things that there wasn't that many scenes on this week either. So it mainly focused on the in-ring. Yeah, really. And even the first one wasn't really a scene because it was more along. Oh no, we had the one between Marty and like I said, I didn't enjoy that one. So
yeah.
I think maybe they focused on a few guys that I'm not particularly hugely invested in this week. And I know that you have to put them in because you have to give them a chance, right? So
I was going to say, how can you be invested in them if you don't give them the chance, sort of thing? Yeah. I get that, but it's just nah.
But normally what they normally do is that they give you a few starter storylines for the first two matches, and they have a really killer main event. The main event this week wasn't that great. It was okay. It wasn't.
It was a spot fest.
Yeah, to be honest. The gift of the Gods title match to end the show will not be remembered in the same way as the No Mass match or even the Graver Consequences match of last week.
Or the first gift of the Gods match.
Yeah, right.
That was a ladder match as well.
Was it a ladder match? I think it was, wasn't it?
Pretty sure it was a ladder match.
Oh, well, there you are. So. Listen, for anyone going, you're being very overcritical here. The only reason being overcritical, Lucha Underground has set a very high bar for themselves. I just don't think this episode lived up to that, right?
Yeah.
So that's our response here. So it gives me a very awkward thing on how to put this on our rating system because in some ways I'm there was stuff that happened here that you will want to catch. You
could miss it.
You're going to go with a miss it?
I could go with a miss it. I think the only thing you'll learn from watching it is Chavo's the Gift of the Gods winner.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing you'd learn.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with you. I'm going to go with a miss it, which is, I know that's going to shock a lot of people, considering most of the time I've said, it's a catch it, or even with the No Mass episode, I was like, this is the top rating I can give the show.
Yeah.
listen, Lucha Underground, to its defense here, it can't hit it out of the park every episode, nor should it. So, and it's one of those shows that because it does give us like really good episodes consistently, and every now and then gives us great episodes. I'll take the less than good episodes with that as a, because it's just part of the way that things work. So I'm okay with that. But this week, if you've not got the time, I'm not going to. You're asking us. I don't have a lot of time. Will I my way of watching this? I'll probably say to you, probably give it a skip.
Yeah.
You don't have to this week. And the problem is as well that I guess one that carries over, Matt, is that looking at next week, you've got Cage and Chavo. I'm not interested in that match. So it's a little bit worrying there, but still. All right then, Matt, that is us done. That's our review for Lucha Underground, Season 2, Episode 17. I think there's 25 episodes in this season, so we've only got like
25 this season?
I think so. Or close to that at least. So at very least we're over halfway.
I don't remember.
So Matt, you're going off now. You won't be on this weekend's show.
I won't be, no.
I will.
And I've only just realised that this Sunday's Extreme Rules as well.
Oh wow! So we have to do. I'll have to do predictions. So you'll be around for next week's pay-per-view review, won't you?
Yeah.
And you'll be hosting it. I forgot you were meant to be hosting the Payback review last time, which I forgot. So
I was.
Yeah, but you'll get to host it next week. So
okay,
fine.
Okay.
All right then, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, you can leave a like. If you want to leave any Lucha Underground specific questions, you can leave them in the comment section. If they're wrestling based, then they'll be answered on our weekend show, which I will be doing. And of course, you can obviously, if you've not subscribed and you like what you hear, then hit that subscribe button. You can become one of our almost 650 subscribers. It constantly goes up all the time. And apart from that, hope you have a great couple of days until we catch you at the weekend. Hope you have a great week, and we'll catch you all then.
We'll catch you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.